Wow, so with that, FFR is going to be moving on to losers finals to play BB now.
Now this is definitely a match to watch here. We're going to see some quick harassment from Bbforky on the Puyo side, and then some very aggressive four wide play from FFRPro. This is going to be an interesting way to see how these strategies mesh together.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue that FFR is much better at Tetris than BB is, so BB's going to have to play in a way that is much more strategic than brute force. So we're going to see BB setting up the 4-wide to match. You can see BB still building when FFR basically finished there.
FFR is going to actually choose to not let that one go so he can start building on his Puyo side, because he knows he has his Tetris side set up.
Mm-hmm. And that's a strong move from him. You know, BB immediately with the harassment, like you said, covering up all those spots. And this making it very hard to deal with. I know as a person who's not as strong in Puyo, something as small as that can be very hard to deal with sometimes if you're just not used to it. Because you think, I'm going to have this time at the beginning where I can set something up, and then someone drops a flat stack of, or flat line of Puyos over your things, and then you kind of lose what you're doing, you know?
The GTR setup, which is a very, very common setup in competitive Puyo, it's actually really susceptible to damage when you get quickly harassed like that. Because a one line of garbage is going to cover your trigger completely and cause you to start from square one.
And Thomas actually actively dead on the Tetris side. This is something interesting that we haven't seen yet so far. In Swap, you can actually have your board die after the time ends. And in this situation, he has 15 seconds to finish the match, essentially. So
on this side, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if he's not able to kill BB in the next 7 seconds, then the match is over. Because when he switches back to the Tetris board, he will lose this round.
And electing to take the death without swapping.
Yeah.
Probably just to speed things up.
So BB actually gonna take that first one, and like we said, the strategy is the way he's gonna actually probably take these wins from FFR right now. BB, I think, is a little stronger in Puyo than FFR, if I'm correct.
Definitely,
Quick 3
yeah.
combo coming out there.
And again, with the quick burial, it's just taking his Puyo out of the game, and then he's free to have a board that the other player is going to be struggling to come back with.
Yeah, taking a weaker Puyo player, I can speak from experience, and then, you know, forcing them to have to dig is very stressful on the Puyo side. It's a constant, like, battle to just be able to make clears. And electing to immediately push this Tetris stack up a little bit, looks like he's going to start chaining. BB with the normal stack with the sidewell here. Gonna like to take the swap combo on the Tetris. Left his piece kind of high. I don't think he's gonna get it. Oh, see, that's an important thing to factor in too. If you leave the long bar high, if you're gonna drop a Tetris in for the swap combo like that, he was able to recover pretty quickly. But if it comes down too late, it might not get tagged onto whatever quick combo you're gonna pull off.
I can certainly say, when you have a good setup on your Puyo side ready to go, the Tetris strategy is actually very desirable for Puyo players, because you're able to get that burst damage along with your chain. As long as you clear something and then clear something on the other side shortly after, you get that damage bonus. That's something that we saw in that last match.
BB miscounting the purples right there, I believe, and meant to set that chain off and kind of messed up his sandwich.
Yeah, he's gonna need a blue on top of the 2 reds there at the top in order to actually get that chain going from the back end.
It's gonna give FFR a chance to really build up his Tetris side without that pressure that he experienced the previous 2 rounds. So we're gonna see the reds come out here, and he doesn't have the second blue, just like you mentioned. So a small swap combo from BB. Able to drop that down quickly though, and finish off the tail end of that with power 3.
And FFRPro is actually gonna be able to survive this.
Yes,
because he's got the clears.
Yeah, he's gonna just take that damage on this side. A smart move from him.
Definitely.
And immediately start clearing. Ooh, able to spin it in. That was such a stressful situation. Wow, I am just so impressed by that movement. I think this was mentioned earlier in the Nestris, but FFR has just incredible control over his Tetris movement, able to move quickly and precisely.
Precision is definitely something you need in this game.
Yeah,
one misdrop can actually be a death completely.
Oh, especially in, I think actually both of them probably to an extent almost equally. If you cover up your trigger, if you cover up your well, if you drop a piece sideways in a place you didn't mean to, it can just be catastrophic. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes it can cost you the match from one move.
It's certainly happened before.
Yeah.
Covering up your trigger and not having anything while you have this barrage of attacks coming to you, you kind of just have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
We see Bbforky here swapping his pieces in order to try and delay this.
Yeah, not gonna have enough
Unfortunately,
time.
couldn't meet it.
So an interesting thing to mention is that the stalling mechanic can be very powerful on the Tetris side if you have the room, because you can even slowly let the piece descend if you have the space and swap it around and flip it around, and then switch pieces to your swap piece and then do it a second time. So depending on the amount of space you have can be more or less effective, but also very powerful when you need it to be.
And all the while you saw he was stalling, you saw FFRPro just continuing to lay down even more damage while he was stalling, which is a perfect counter to that. That's exactly what you want to do.
Oh, absolutely. If you see your opponent stalling, realistically, I think I mentioned this once earlier too, I think that it's one thing to keep building, but you have that time where your opponent is against the wall, and if they're going to mess up the stall, now's your chance to do an absurd amount of damage to them. So it's really good to push hard when they're trying to do that.
Forky here going to set up this, I believe that's a 4-chain. Oh,
Into a 4-wide. Got the 5 combo on top of it with a long bar. Ooh, and he spins the L in. That's a 9 combo. That's it. That's a force kill if I've ever seen one. And BB with just the oppressive swap combo there. And that's what we're talking about. Even though you might see players who are more or less weaker or stronger in certain things, if they can really utilize that swap mechanic, it can make a huge difference in the match.
And we see both of these players are really strong in knowing when to stall and knowing exactly where to put pressure and on what board.
Absolutely. You see, it's really interesting to see the kind of strategies that you can see different players take to. You can definitely have your own kind of play style, and I think that really attributes to what you were talking about earlier, where it's almost fighting game FGC-esque in the sense that you can almost recognize, without even seeing which player it is, like what kind of style they're going for.
Mm-hmm. Forky here getting a disadvantage at the start, but he's able to get a quick chain off along with his swap combo. It's going to do a little bit more damage. Let's see if FFRPro is able to counter pretty much the whole thing.
Able to cancel out almost all that damage, but still not a bad look for BB, who had a lot of garbage on the Poyo side, able to buy him some time to live. Setting up another quick swap combo there, sneak it into this 4-wide on the Tetris. Electing to end that a little early and build up the 3-stack on the right side a little bit. Separating that into 2.
He's continuing to put pressure on him, but FFRPro is able to work around this misdrop here and continue to counter all this damage.
FFR setting up a very smart, almost like 2-wide well on the right side in that situation, making to where almost any piece you could turn sideways would clear some lines, which was really good. And this might be... This is going to be very close. BB's got 10 seconds left. Looking for something to clear with to try to free something up. He's got the blues.
He's got the blues.
yellows.
So this is going to do a quick chain here.
Yeah, but now he has to stall. Nice
with a good T-spin. And an S-spin there as well.
Ooh. Unfortunate hole he built over there, though. Could have put more pressure on him. Ooh, this is going to look rough. Ooh, oh no, and BB kind of is dropping some Swiss cheese on his Tetris board right there. He's going to get a swap clear here. Let's see if he can work with it. Not enough with the purples, though. He's going to get a small chain here. Going to keep that combo going.
It's just enough to bury.
Should be interesting. I don't think... I feel like BB's Tetris board looks pretty rough right now. We'll see what he can do with it.
If he can clean it up pretty quickly, it looks like the players will be dead even in this. Both of their Puyo sides looking like they're in a bit of trouble.
BB just having so many single holes right now.
It's a really tough thing to work with.
And just making more of them is the biggest problem. I feel like there's almost a level of stress that's associated with trying to clear quickly with these holes, because you end up making more in the process because you feel like you have to drop the pieces quickly. And that's how you end up getting, and the worst thing in my opinion is when you have multiple holes in the same row, because then it's not even just clearing to one spot. You have to down stack on top of more than one spot, and that becomes a more complicated task to accomplish.
And on the flip side of that, sometimes you want to set that up in that way so that you can get a combo off of it. But like you were saying, if you have two holes in the same row, there's no way you can combo that.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes the hardest part. Like right here, he's got 3 divots there. Yeah, in the miss drop, but he had 3 divots and 2 flat pieces, where it's like there's almost no good place to put it because you have so many single holes. You know.
Unfortunately, those O's were really a lot of trouble for him.
Yeah, and I figured it would have been. It's one of those things where really, really talented players in Tetris can sometimes, you know, make those huge brain plays where they can clear and work with those. But for someone like me, or even at BB's level, who's even better than I am, that can just be a real Tetris killer on that side.
Bbforky here sending off some garbage, but Thomas sending off some of his own was actually able to counter it.
Yeah, with the swap too. Now BB's got to deal with this huge stack of Tetris garbage already. This was so fast. Gonna get that T-spin though. Into the clear. It's gonna combo out of it.
Oh, that's looking hairy.
Yeah. Wow. Just FFR able to just handle that so well. Just canceled out every bit of it.
And I saw Forky there attempting to rebuild that, and unfortunately got covered, but he was able to trigger it in reverse.
Yeah, that was nicely done. Even using the garbage to his advantage a little bit there.
Yeah. But now he's got to deal with this Tetris board, and he unfortunately dropped that.
That's such a horrible piece of misdrop too, because it makes that overhang, but able to work around it. I always find it super impressive when the Tetris players have this small amount of space, almost like a small Tetris board, and they're working down. And that might be it. He could stall.
Oh, he's gonna stall it. He's gonna try and go on Puyo again.
But now he's dead on Tetris side, as we can see though. So 18 seconds to figure this out. Needs to trigger something here. Doesn't have the blues he needed to trigger the rest of that.
Yeah, problem I saw with Bbforky, and I noticed this a lot with some Tetris players, is they often don't know what to do with O pieces, and instead of at the first available opportunity when you have a nice spot to put an O piece, they don't swap it out, and they end up with a O piece in their next column and an O piece in their swap column that they're not able to do anything with, and leads to more holes because the O piece is very hard to place.
It's important to note what you just said. There is a dichotomy of the way you can use the swap piece in Tetris. And the quick all clear from BB on a 3-chain there.
That was very good observation there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, FFRPro not getting it because he didn't notice the nice even number of pieces there.
Yeah, and then BB looking, I think, to just go ahead and let that ride a little bit and try to work with that massive pile of garbage that he has on FFR's side, probably after setting up the Tetris side. So in this case, I think BB's going to be looking to just tame Thomas's Tetris, or just try to hang with him, and then really push when they move back to Puyo.
Yeah, I'm looking at Forky's Puyo side. I'm not actually seeing a whole lot he can do here that's really going to push him out. It looks like he's going to try and do this quick 3 here.
Well, it's not enough, though. Thomas able to clear quick enough to really dig down. Kind of, ooh, wow. The speed on that, very nicely done by FFR there. Able to cancel out almost all that garbage and dig all the way down. Now it should be interesting, because now it's going to be a Tetris race, probably. So BB immediately pressuring with his 4 wide. Nice L spin. Oh no! The misdrop with the S. Oh, and that's gonna cut off his chain and make it more difficult to move pieces down. This is gonna slow him down. He's gonna lose the hard drop. And yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier with the difference of misdropping one piece can slow you down so much, even when you have a 4-wide setup.
Yeah, so now they've got one set each. So this is the tiebreaker here.
So I believe the winner of this set will be moving on to loser side of Grands versus Poochie.
Yep.
BB going with a standard build here. Probably gonna look for a Tetris. FFR still sticking to the 4-wide.
Forky looking like he's getting a little frazzled here. He's doing a lot of slight mistakes in his build of that on that column there.
And he's gonna have a swap from this, but I don't know about using the L piece in that way. He's gonna have a slight overhang. He'll be able to tuck under it, but that is an interesting way to go for it. Now he's gonna have
the swap combo, but he didn't get it before he started doing his Puyo chain, so the damage was really negligible.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this came up already, I believe, once before, where if you mistime that, it can be really good if you get it, but if you wait too long, you can end up just kind of having that swap waiting and then nothing happens.
Right.
Alright, so maybe looking to downstack and clear out these wells here. Needs to quickly. That might be it.
I think he knows it too.
Yeah, so he's gonna stall. He swapped over the T-piece. Nicely done. He's dead on Tetris side though.
But he's trying to. He's thinking he can maybe finish it here, but he's got a lot of garbage he's going to need to counter in order for that to work.
Yeah, he's not even going to be able to cancel out that combo. That might be curtains for this match.
Oh yeah,
I think BB knows it too.
He knows that's over.
Yeah, you can see that too. The awareness BB had there, he just immediately stacked up, and I like to go to the next one. And that can cause some mental damage. A lot of people call that salt. Sometimes I look at it as a way to kind of take a little bit of control back. Say like, I know I'm gonna acknowledge that I've lost this. I'm not gonna let this combo just hammer me to death. We saw that from Thomas too earlier in his previous match, where he knew he was dead and he liked to just push it up before it happened and kind of just take control heading into the next match. Kind of a mental move.
Yeah, there's not much you can do in that situation at that point. So there's really not a lot of use in just kind of delaying the inevitable. Forky looking like he's going to try and do a little T-spin setup, but he unfortunately left a hole there, so he didn't get the double.
Not working out too bad for him in the end, though. Able to work around it pretty well. And uncover it over there. Ooh, misdropping another S piece has kind of been the bane of his Tetris game this round.
Yeah, he's been misdropping quite a bit, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but in Tetris there's a mechanic called hard drop, where if you press up in most control schemes, you're able to immediately drop the Tetris piece straight down to the bottom and immediately connect. But if you just slightly tap left, or you don't tap left, or you tap right when you meant to press down, you can just drop it one space left and right, and that can be the difference between a good move and a horrible move.
So FFRPro could not take that damage on the Puyo side. It would have killed him, so he elected to wait for the Tetris side, but he unfortunately had a really bad piece that he could not continue his combo on, so he was dead either way.
So BB kind of getting a get out of jail free card in that situation.
A little bit.
Yeah. So we're gonna see BB with kind of pushing a weird stack right now. Yeah, and I think FFR noticing it and immediately deciding to harass like he knew that BB didn't have the trigger.
Yeah, and that is a textbook Puyo move. Getting really lucky on the garbage RNG there.
Yeah. Again, sometimes you're at the mercy of the game, and it can be really frustrating from the opponent's side, but it's important to note that even when it seems like they can get kind of a free Tetris or something out of it, that you can also get the same luck on your side. So it's just one of those things you kind of gotta not let it get to you if your opponent gets that easy 4 clear from the garbage and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Both players are equally as likely to get it, so it's just luck of the draw, really.
BB with a nice quick 4, able to dig under that from the right side. Looking to set up another sandwich here with the purples. Not getting any reds though. Wow, that was pretty brutal. A little bit of a red drought there.
He actually gets his red there, and looks like he's going to delay this to try and get the swap combo out of it.
He's going to try to build something up quickly on the Tetris side to get something here.
Going to pair it with that T-spin.
Oh, I don't think he... Did he get it?
He got
it. Yeah, it was close.
FFRPro looking like he's able to live with the damage here.
He's going to get that. Yes, he needed that long bar. FFR looking to clear. He's got a well here. Covers it up, but not in a terrible situation. It won't take that piece because it didn't clear. If he can just get a quick S or something on the side to clear that out and not cover up that well, his Tetris side might even be okay. That depends on what kind of damage BB does here. Ooh, that's really bad.
Oh, and FFRPro looking like he's going to stall this one out.
Yeah, he knows that he needs to do some work. Oh, the Tetris side able to cancel out immediately with that S piece, like I mentioned.
He was watching. He was watching his Tetris board there. He knew exactly what he needed to do.
All right, so he's going to get this clear here. He's trying to flatten it out, trying to downstack immediately, knowing that the Poyos is not a good look right now.
He's not getting the T-spin.
Oh no! What happened? Was he rotating the wrong direction?
He was. He actually didn't have it in the slot in the right way. He wasn't rotating it.
Oh yeah, that can be really frustrating. Oh, does Nestris have a different spin mechanic than this too?
It does. It doesn't use any sort of. It uses a classic rotation system, which is nothing like this one. Which this uses the super rotation system.
I wonder if that might have. I wonder if his brain just didn't. You know how that is. Like sometimes when you feel like your muscle memory kicks in instead. I gotta wonder if that was part of it. That's so unfortunate. He had the T-spin and just couldn't get it in there.
And as somebody mentioned in chat, the T that way works in Tetris Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he was thinking then. He was thinking that was the way that T-spin worked, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's important to note that this can be disorienting moving from game to game for Tetris players as well, because while all Tetris may look very similar, there are mechanics like that, like rotation, that work differently across the different kinds of Tetris.
Oh, and FFRPro in trouble. He could not actually take that damage, and he had the center there. So Bbforky ended up taking that entire match there.